Once upon a time, there were millions and millions of little drops of water, and all the drops of water lived together in a small pond. The water drops were always happy. They played and bounced and sang together, except for one little water drop. He was a sad water drop. He didn't want to play or bounce or sing. He just kept looking at the sky and wishing he was a part of a cloud rolling around in the sky, looking at the sun and the moon and all the stars. Then one day, he felt himself being lifted out of the water. Nothing was holding him. He was just being drawn closer and closer to the sun. Above him, he could see a big cloud, and much to his surprise, he landed on the cloud. Oh, he was so happy, for finally his wish had come true. Every day he smiled and waved at jolly Mr. Sun, and every night he talked to Mr. Moon and all the stars. For days and days, the water drop was happy being a part of a cloud, close to the sun and the moon and all the stars. During the days that followed, the water drop kept wondering what it would be like to fall from the sky onto the land and to see all the trees and the grass and the animals and maybe even people. The next day, the water drop saw Mr. Sun. He asked, "Mr. Sun, will I ever be able to fall from the sky onto the land?" Mr. Sun replied, "Little water drop, soon you will become a raindrop, and soon you will fall from the sky with other raindrops onto the land to help make the trees and the grass strong and green." The following day, the clouds started to get bigger and bigger and darker and darker, and once again the water drop was happy, for soon he would be on the land. At last the cloud got so big and so dark that it split down the center, and all the new raindrops started falling to the land. As the little water drop was falling, he kept saying to himself, "At last, I'm a real raindrop. I'm Mr. Raindrop." All of a sudden, Mr. Raindrop wasn't falling anymore, for he had landed on a big oak tree. The oak tree smiled at Mr. Raindrop as if to say, "Thank you for the fresh water today." Mr. Raindrop didn't have a chance to answer because he fell from the tree onto a roof of a house, and he rolled down the roof and finally stopped on a white windowsill. Mr. Raindrop looked in the window, and he saw a little boy and a little girl, but they were crying, and he didn't know why. Mr. Raindrop decided to find out what was wrong, so he rapped very lightly on the window. The little boy and girl came to the window to see who was rapping. They looked all around, but all they could see was rain. They even opened the window just a crack. Mr. Raindrop pushed through the crack and said, "Hello, my name is Mr. Raindrop, and I'd like to know why you're crying." The children looked at him and finally said, "We're crying because it's raining and we can't go out and play." Then Mr. Raindrop spoke. "Children," he said, "do you like to play in the cool green grass or climb a big oak tree?" "Yes," they said. "Well then," Mr. Raindrop replied, When it rains, you should be happy, because rain makes the trees and the grass grow." The children smiled at Mr. Raindrop, and they became friends. He told them of his adventures in the pond and in the sky. After he was finished, the little girl said to him, "Oh, Mr. Raindrop, you are so lucky. You've had such an exciting life, so full of so many adventures." Just then, Mr. Raindrop felt himself falling again. Oops! I'm off on another adventure. And then he landed in a bed of tulips.